what we're going to do today is pretty much just go over the paper notification form. I will go through the notification form. Also, we have some examples of some fee calculator example payments, and then we'll go through the answering questions. Feel free to jot down your questions maybe at your desk, and then that way, if I answer it during, you could scratch it off and not have to waste your time having to chat in either. Then we'll go through that. To start out with, though, I know they wanted to touch base about the website. The Ohio EPA website was updated yesterday. You can go there to get the latest and greatest information. Under the project notifications tab here are the new forms, the new notification form. It is in either an interactive Word version, a PDF. There is instructions. There's also examples of, there's some blank fee payment calculator forms and some examples. And then also the 2018 annual notification guidance. I'll speak a little bit about the annual notifications here again in a minute as we start going through the form. So all this is available to you off the website, and this is, again, for the paper submissions, the hard copy submissions of the notification form. We will be obviously having an electronic notification ability here, but that won't be up and running until January 5th, and that webinar will be done on January 4th on how to get onto the e-business center and fill out the interactive form. So let's go ahead and bring up I'll bring up the Word interactive form first, and we'll start going through it. Again, the form was redone. We had to try to combine two different program sets of rules, and I guess just to start back real quick, there still are two sets of rules. The ODH rules that exist today are coming over to the EPA under Administrative Code 3745-22. So the licensing rules aren't going away, they're just being moved. So there's still the notification requirements for both the licensing and the emission control rules. There's also still the fee requirements for both sets. So they still do both exist. So we needed to try to combine this so that it could be hopefully more convenient for the contractors out there in the field in notifying. Again, notification starting here December 21st, any notifications that you have coming in, we are asking that you fill them out on the new form and that you send it to the EPA with the proper fees up front that we'll be talking about in a little bit here. So the new form that we've merged together, it doesn't have a whole lot of new information. It's more just, again, combining the two forms and then moving things around to hopefully be more convenient to fill out. As a result, what we've come up with is a notification form that's got two sections. Section 1 is called General Information, and it's the first 2 pages. So let's start going through that. We do have the information right up at the top that work on the project cannot begin until 10 working days after a complete original notification form, including payment, is submitted to EPA. And there are instructions in a worksheet for the fee calculation, again, on that website. One big difference with fees, again, is, if it's a project that has over 50 feet, the licensing rules will apply, and you'll have the $65 for each address under that notification. You've got a $75 NESHAP notification if it's either a demolition or abatement that's over 160 square feet, 260 linear, 35 cubic. And then the RACM fees will get charged up front. They will be calculated and charged up front. At the end of the project, when the project is totally complete, once it's gone more than 3 days past the last completion date of any abatement or demolition on the notification, it'll close out that notification, and the system will reconcile. It'll take a look at what currently is there with the footages versus what was notified for, and you will either be getting a refund if it's significantly less, or you will get charged and get invoiced for the difference if you have more from what you originally notified for. So As we go through the notification, the first part is for EPA use only, some internal information that we need. One other thing, too, to mention real quick for these notifications, that's a little out of the norm from what everybody's used to. Notifications no longer will be sent to the district offices and local area agencies. Everything will be coming into the EPA central office. So come December 21st, here, as you have revisions to current projects and new notifications, make sure you're sending them in to the new fax, new email, the EPA, asbestos at epa.ohio.gov, and then also the new address for originals. So, number one, notification information. Check all that apply. If it's an original, you'll be marking an original. If you're doing revisions, you can mark revision and go up in the revision number, so revision 1, 2, 3, 4, etc., like we've done in the past. If it is an installation, so what is an installation? We do have it in the directions. Actually, let me flip over real quick to the directions. And an installation means any building or structure or any group of buildings or structures at a single demolition or renovation abatement site that are under the control of the same owner-operator or owner-operator under common control. Includes projects where multiple addresses are included in a common project, have the same owner, and are being completed in the same county. If the project includes more than one structure or address, be sure to complete the separate Section 2 page, which we will talk about here shortly. So, if you have a project that has more than one address, like for example, City of Canton, say you have 10 houses that you're going to be doing and you have all the information on these 10 houses, you can do one notification and it's an installation and you'll be marking that installation. That will kick in some information later on as far as the number of Section 2 pages that have to be completed. If it is an emergency notification, you would click the emergency button. There is a section later on here we're going to be seeing where you will fill out some information regarding the emergencies and also have the ability to upload documents as need be. Annual notification. What's formerly known as a blanket notification with Ohio Department of Health, that is going away. There will be no more blanket, the monthly reports that you have to submit with the fees. That will not happen anymore. The annual information is in the EPA rules. You do have to, if you are expecting that you will have that work that you need to do under an annual notification for the next calendar year, you're supposed to submit that notification at least 10 business days prior to the end of the current calendar year. As a result, yesterday when we updated the website, that annual guidance is out there on the main asbestos website. You can pull up this notification guidance. It will have, it's a 2-page document that kind of goes about annual notifications. But basically, the annual notifications will be handled slightly differently in that the RACM will not be charged up front. You will just have to submit the completed notification marked annual along with $140. That'll take $65 for the licensing rule fee and $75 for the emission control fee. You will submit that annual notification now through the 18th of December, and then be able to, we'll put that into the system once the new system is up and running at the beginning of the year. And then at the end of the calendar year, the system will reconcile with how much of material you have on the notification and issue you the invoice for the annual notification at that time. And then, of course, next year at this time, you'll be able to do it through the online system. Fortunately, it's not up and running until the beginning of the year, so you'll have to do it by paper here first. So the annual notification information is available on the website. If you have any questions as you're filling it out, I think when our asbestos number is on there, feel free to give me a call and I can help walk you through that. We do have a cancellation button, and this cancellation is for when you are canceling a project that's never started. If you have a project that you started on, then you put it on hold, and you've been off hold, and you're back on hold, and you're off hold, once you get to the end of that project, that's just a revision and updating the completion date. It's not a cancellation. You actually did do that project or did work on it. If you get a notification that you've actually submitted and then whatever happens, owner decides to change his mind, that's what the cancellation is for. So we also do have county right here in the first section. That is because of the importance, a little more. Again, this form was developed to be also work very well with the online form, so that when we are getting paper forms, our staff internally can easily go through and fill out the online notification, or well, the one that's on the system. And obviously county is a big part of the whole, how do I determine how many notifications or what do I do? You know, the notification is, you know, you're putting in a notification for a job in the same county by the same owner for the same project. So county is a pretty important issue, so we put it right up front. As we go through a lot more general information, Section 2 is all about the owner, the asbestos contractor, billing information, and fire department if needed. One thing also that you'll notice out here on the right, there's a button above each section that says revised. When you are going to do revisions, if you are making a change to anything in this area, you also check mark this revised box, and that will be an easy way to let our staff know that you have that's an area where you made some changes. It will help us with our data entry and updating. Owner-wise, so here, the building owner, you have the name, you have to tell us whether it's a company or not, the address, the contact person, city, state, zip, email, phone, and fax. Pretty standard of what you're used to already, just a little bit of addition with is this a company or not. And that is a little something that we have to do for more to be in compliance with the electronic system that requires certain having a certain number for to be on the e-business center and so forth. Abatement contractor, if there is an asbestos abatement work going on, you will have the name, the asbestos contractor number, expiration date, address, person, city, state, zip, email, phone, and fax. Now, obviously, we're talking about today about the paper form. Just a quick heads up, you know, if you do decide to go to the online notification system, this is some of the information that will be nice down the road, because you'll be able to do, like, either put in the name of start to put in the name of the contractor or put in their contractor number. It'll be able to pull it up, and you can kind of hit a button that automatically completes all these fields for you. But to continue with the paper form, for those situations where you have to submit it, the next section is billing contact. Is this contact associated with the owner, abatement contractor, or demolition contractor? This is more important. Obviously, you're paying fees up front, so hopefully there won't need to be an end on the, or a need on the end to have to bill or refund. But just in case there is, well, we need that information on who gets billed at the end if there's a change in the material and it's going to cost a little more, and or the refund. So all that information should be filled out right here for who you want to deal with the billing. And then, of course, we've got the fire department information available: name, address, contact, city, state, zip, email, phone, and fax. Nothing too out of the ordinary from what you're used to on the current EPA notification form. This is just the general information section where it's at. As we continue to move on, Section 3 is about the evaluation specialist. You know, the person who did the building inspection report and the surveys. Same here: name, certification number, and expiration date, and procedures that they use to detect the presence of asbestos. All that information can be placed right here. Procedures to be followed: should unexpected regulated asbestos-containing material, rackham, be discovered. All of these are here. A few of them that we see often have been put in there for easy check marks. If you got something else in there, you can put other, and put that information. Okay, planned demolition, same thing. A few of the things that we see quite often have been put in here to be able to be check marked. If you got something different or addition, you can go in here and type that in. And a description of the affected facility components. Continue with general information on the page 2. If there's asbestos abatement going on, this section is for a little bit of description about that work. Type of ACM to be abated. As we go through here horizontally here, you will, at least one of these, at least one should be marked in each row. So type of ACM, you should mark either surfacing, mechanical, or other. Engineering controls, we put a bunch of common ones that are used. Wet methods, glove bag, negative pressure enclosure. If there's something else, you could put other. You know, I've seen people put everything for like hot demo and things like that in other. Work practices, intact removal, manual, mechanical, or other. That information needs to be in there. So, all right. Asbestos waste transporter. We actually, under this section, have two areas where you can do transporter name and information if need be. Most of the time, I'm guessing you'll just have one, but there are a few cases that ran over where they needed two, so we've provided some extra space for that. The asbestos waste disposal site information, name, address, phone number, all that normal stuff. It's right here. Emergency demolition, if you checked emergency and above, and it's a demolition, you'll be filling out this information. You also have to attach the copy of the issued order of that demolition. So make sure you include that with the form that you mail in. If you're using the online system, you'll actually be able to upload that. Same for emergency renovation abatement. The information is here about the date, time, and the description of the event and how it caused unsafe conditions. You have to also remember that not only meeting the emission control section of emergency renovation requirements, you're also meeting the licensing side that we've done for many years. So you may need to attach a letter from an evaluation specialist explaining that it's significantly damaged, friable, asbestos-containing material causing a public health hazard, or whatever else may be, whether it's actions necessitated due to fire or emergency personnel, etc. Non-routine failures of equipment. But this is where you would put that information. Then there's an attestation section here. Basically, a person signing out, filling out the form, saying that you filled it out, everything's true and accurate, and that you're also certifying at least one person is required by this paragraph of the rule will supervise the stripping and removal described by the notification. Now, a lot of that so far is just general overall, so that's why it's been placed in this first two sections. The third page of the notification, section 2, is project address specific information. So if you have if you don't have installation mark, it's just one address that you're filling out. Not a big deal. You'll fill out one of these forms and you'll be done. If it's an installation and you have more than one address, 5, 10, 15, 20, whatever it may be, you will fill out one of these for each address. So, as we go through here, it's pretty much specific information to each address. Building name, site location, address, county, city, state, zip, building, number of floors, age, present use, prior use. Very similar to what we've already had with the EPA notice. Here's where you will mark the type of operation. If it's a demolition or if it's a renovation/abatement. If it is renovation abatement, you'll also mark which kind of abatement it is, removal, repair, encapsulation, or enclosure. You will continue, is asbestos present, yes or no? No, if it was previously abated. If so, you'll tell us when it was previously abated. Same as what's on the NESHAP notification now. Then you'll get down to the amount of asbestos-containing material. This form is actually going to be slightly revised one more time because these areas are going to be taken out of non-friables, but under the cubic foot. But here's where you will put per address how much material is in that specific address. This isn't the place to put it for the overall. There'll be a calculation, and if you're doing it online, it'll take it all, it'll take it all from all the different addresses and total it up. That's a calculation you're going to have to do if you're filling out the paper form yourself, which we will go over here in a little bit, a couple examples of a couple different scenarios with the fee calculation page that we've come up with to try to help. But here's where you will put the linear foot, the square foot, the cubic foot, the rackham, and also your Category 1 and Category 2 non-primables as need be. If you do have asbestos abatement work to be done, setup, abatement, and completion dates are right here. We also have a place for you to put the hours of operation in the days that you are working. We have provided it twice. Oh, you also have the abatement specialist in charge of the project at that time. We've done 2 entries there. That way, if you have more than one shift, you can easily put which abatement specialist is working which shift and the times and all that as needed. Demolition contractor. If there's a demolition, here's information on where the demolition contractor's info is put. Name, address, phone number, all the stuff you're used to putting in there. And then also the dates of the demolition, the start and the completion date of the demolition. That information is right here too. And the last box on it is the project hold button. We had to bring that down to the project level because obviously if you're having a project where you have 10, 20 homes, there may be some that you're working on and some that you're not. What we're doing, there's a hold begin date and then a work resume date. So you can put down when you believe you're going to be resuming work. One thing we're doing for current projects that come January 1st, any projects that are in the current ODH system or the current ANT system for EPA that are on hold, that are extended into the new year, those are coming over, and what's going to happen is a hold date of January 1st, 2018 is going to automatically populate in here. That way it continues to be on hold when we come over January 1st. They're going to put an automatic date in here, a work resume date of March 31st, 2018. That will give you 3 months for these on-hold notifications to be able to take a look at them and adjust them as necessary. If you're going back on in January, it's not a big deal. You can do your revision and change your work resume date and let us know. Big thing is, if you're not sure when that's going out, once you get close to that work resume date of March 31st, if you need to continue it out and it still needs to be on hold, you need to do a revision, say that it's still on hold, and push that work resume date out further. And again, we are working on some procedures too that will be coming out here the first of the year with the on holds. But one of the things that's definitely going to be in it is when you do have a project on hold and you want to resume, you're going to have at least 1 business day ahead of time that you have to revise to let us know that you're going back on site. So that's pretty much going through the paper notification form that you have to fill out. I want to flip over real quick to the fee sheets, if I can find it. On the asbestos page, again, we do have some blank fee sheets, either in Word or PDF, but I'm going to throw a couple of the examples on here first for us to see. So first example of a fee calculation. This is an abatement, renovation abatement, that's less than 260 linear, 160 square, 35 feet. So for example, you have 70 feet. It obviously meets the licensing requirements, but it doesn't meet the NESHAP requirement notification fee. So you will go through here, put in your linear foot, there's the $65 that applies to that specific address. And then again, it's not over the NESHAP quantifications for abatement, so no $75 fee, no racking fee, no cleanup fee, so the total amount is $65. Not too difficult a one there. So here's one that's just demolition only, no abatement. There's no asbestos present at all, so therefore there will be no $65 fee. There is a one-time $75 NESHAP notification fee that is required by law for the notification, but there is no asbestos, so there will be no racking fee, no cleanup fee, So there's your $75 for just demolition. So let's get into the more complicated one. Let's talk about an installation. So here's one that has an example. It's got 13 different addresses under this project that they're going to be doing. So they have gone through and filled out the amount of asbestos in each one. 0, 0, here's 5, 8, and 20. It's still 0. It's not over 50 feet yet. Oh, here's 112. This one's over 50 feet, linear feet, so a $65 fee gets charged. Here's another one, over 350 square feet, the $65 fee gets charged. And we've gone through here for each one of these, and if it's over 50 feet, you get your 65. If it's not over 50 feet, there's not a 65. Totals up your linear foot, your square foot, and your cubic foot that you'll need here in a minute. But here is the amount of fees for the licensing side. As we go down now and try to figure out the notification fees, there is a $75 notification fee. That is the notification fee that you're sending in, not 13. It's one notification with 13 projects on it. So $75 notification fee. Now we get into the RACM, and it goes through the RACM calculations. A $3 fee is charged per unit of total linear square foot of RACM. A unit is calculated by taking the total and dividing by 50. Only whole units are charged. So if we take the total linear feet plus the total square feet, you get that number. You divide it by 50, you get 58.26. You round it down to the whole unit of 58, multiply it by $3, you get your 174, and you put that here. If there's a cleanup fee, if it's cubic feet, here it is, the $4 fee per cubic yard. One thing you'll remember on the notification, in the rules under notification, you have to notify for cubic feet, but in the law, the charge is by cubic yard. So there has to be a calculation that is done changing cubic feet to cubic yard. So a $4 fee is charged per cubic yard. You calculate this by taking the total cubic feet and dividing by 27. Only whole cubic yards are charged. So you take that total, divide it by 27, take it to the, round it down to the lowest cubic yard, multiply it by 4, you get your 92, and you put that here. Then you total up 1, 2, 3, and 4. There's the amount that you are due. So that's what the check has to be coming in. Like I said, here's a couple examples that are on there. And then also there is the blank form for you guys to be able to go fill out yourself if you need to. And then that check could be made out to the Treasurer, State of Ohio, and sent in to the address that is on the notification. And I believe it's on the instructions too on where to send that information to. So let's see. What else is there? I'm looking around here. Mark Needham and Jim Cadillac are in the room with me also. Is there anything else that I need to hit on real quick before we start taking questions?
Here are the questions that have come in. Do you want to pause for a minute? Or do you just
why don't we go ahead and pause for a minute. We'll do a quick review of the questions, and then we'll come back and start answering questions. Okay, we have, again, some of these questions will be answered by a variety of us here, whether it's Mark or Jim or myself. We'll try to read the questions and then provide the answers. Some of them we may be skipping over. There may be a few that we might end up getting back with if it's a specific question. Directly. But the first one we have here, how will the system know the updated quantities at the end of the project? Remember, the demonstration today isn't dealing too much with, the online system yet. That'll be coming. You still have the requirement that you have to notify us of changes to your notification, which make the information in the notification no longer accurate. So at the end of the project, if it's different, you should be revising your notification and updating your quantities. So, but then on the back end, obviously, this system will be able to see what was submitted and paid for with the original and reconcile all that versus what it is after the project is complete. Why do we have to put in the fire department? When is it applicable, Jim?
The fire department is only when they're doing authorizations for fire training. So the fire departments are required to go through and or the owner operator to remove the asbestos before doing a fire training. So that is when the fire department information would be required.
Okay. Will RAPCA still require a work plan up front and a notification no longer is submitted directly to RAPCA? Well, that's a great question for, the local air agencies. They'll have to decide, if there's anything over and beyond that they want to continue to receive. They have the right to do that, but.
The Ohio EPA rules do not require that a work plan or a building inspection report or anything are submitted with the notification. So that's something that you'll have to work with RAPCA on if they want to see a work plan, if you want to give that plan to help facilitate their inspections.
Yeah, to further expand on that a little bit too, for abatement projects, I know sometimes the locals and the districts have asked for building inspection reports and different things too. You will have the ability, again, I don't want to deal too much with online, this is the paper copy, but still, if you submit it with a paper copy, if you have a building inspection report and you want to submit it with it, you're more than welcome to. You'll be able to upload it and attach it with that notification, and then they'll have the ability to see that. And for those that are abatement projects that fall under the licensing rule, as abatement contractors, you have to have a copy of a building inspection report on site for any project you're on that's a NESHAP regulated project. So if it is uploaded with the notification, you won't physically have to have it on site. We're going to look at that as you submit it with a notification and we have it, and our inspector can end up looking at that anytime they need to by pulling up the notification. So that's just to expand on that a little bit. One of the questions, if you do everything online, does it still take 10 days to kick in, or does it go to 3 days? No, it's by rule, it is a 10 business day. What if you are a demo contractor and you don't know if a project was previously notified or abated?
For those, you would have to either check with the building owner if you trust them to see if it was abated. You could contact us at EPA. We could answer that question if we've had a notified project there. And in the future, you'll have the ability also to go online and look up notifications on your own to see if the abatement has already been done.
To speak a little bit to this too, if an owner already has everything done, they've got the abatement contractor, they've got the demolition contractor, and they want to put it all in on one notice, you can. You can put in one notification with all that information, and it'd be $75, NESHAP fee, and any of the abatement fee and RACM, all of it gets done on one notice. If they don't know what the demolition schedule is going to be and don't have a contractor pick, but they want to start with the abatement, and the abatement contractor puts in a notification, that's fine. But they're not going to be able to add stuff later on. That demolition contractor will probably have to go on and add their own notification to deal with the demolition aspect of it. So there's a couple questions about automatically filling in. Obviously, the automated system, which we're not dealing with today, there are going to be some features for that, but not with a paper form. Do you have to put a start date in? Yes. Well, obviously, if you're having abatement, you have to put a start date in. If you're having demolition, you have to put a start date in. Can you put in an original notification with only a beginning hold date? No. The answer. This is a good question. There's only one area for evaluation specialists on first form. If you have an installation, where do you put different evals? That's a great question. I'm not sure how often that happens, but that is something we'll have to work through with you. That this could be a revision down the way, that where this section gets moved to the second page possibly, if need be.
Yeah, you may just have to submit it as an addendum to the notification.
Maybe an attachment.
Piece of paper.
Attachment. Yeah. Upload an attachment if that happens, and we'll see how often it's happening, and if it's something that is needed of a system change.
We'll change it.
Yeah. How's an abatement specialist different from an asbestos supervisor? It's not the same thing. An asbestos hazard abatement specialist is the contractor supervisor.
Right. The ODH regulations don't call it a supervisor. The training you take to become an abatement specialist is supervisor training, and it's called supervisor by everybody, so it's kind of confusing. We always have had our term, the asbestos hazard abatement specialist, which is the supervisor. They're the same term.
Okay, when should we start using the asbestos at EPA.ohio.gov in regards to revisions while the new portal is in limbo? Technically, the current system for ANTS and for ODH, for our system, is still going to be running and up and running through the end of business day, 5 o'clock, January 2nd. So any current notifications that you have in already that you're making revisions to, you can still continue to send them to the Ohio Department of Health and the EPA up through January 2nd. Then after that, you'll want to start using that EPA.ohio.gov to forward any future revisions to. And then, of course, like we mentioned earlier, come December 21st, any new notifications, you want to go ahead and start using the new form and sending them down to the central office instead of the district offices in ODH.
Sure.
Will you be able to pay by credit card with paper notifications? No. You'll be sending in check or money order. Online system will be an option. And the next question is the submission date the postmark date? Yes. If we are only removing non-friable floor tile transite, does the asbestos contractor have to submit notification knowing it's a demo project? If the non-friable is being done non-friable and you're not making it friable, then it's not an abatement project and you don't have to notify us. Somebody's got to notify for the demo project down the road, but that could be the demo contractor. If there are two houses on one parcel, is that an installation? Maybe, maybe not.
Yeah, it could be.
It could be.
If it's part of a larger project, it would be.
Can Section H project hold be used for asbestos abatement projects as well? Yes. Does the 10-day still start from the postmark date? Yes.
We already
got that.
Okay.
You mentioned that annual notification is due December 18th. Are the fees due at this time as well? Again, with the notification submission, you have to submit for annual notifications. It has to be the notification fees, so the licensing fee and the NESHAP fee. So $65 and $75, so there will be a $140 fee with the annual notification. A RACM will not get charged for this next calendar year until the end of the calendar year. Once they've reconciled and been done with those notifications, then they'll do that process. What is the meaning of the term company? I believe up in this section here, I'm going to take over the mouse for a second. I believe that's referring up here in the owner information. Is this a company? Again, that requirement had to be put in there because of the electronic system and to be Chrome Air compliant and all that kind of thing. There's actually a difference between whether you're an individual or a company and assigning numbers in the e-business center. So that is why we had to put this in there. So obviously if you're just an individual owner, for example, a homeowner maybe, or are you a company? I'm not sure, Jim, is this qualified too for like land banks and so forth as being a company for their numbers?
I would think it would, but we could get back to that.
Yeah,
we're talking businesses, LLCs, that type of thing.
Yeah, the owners, the contractors would be a company, and we'll try to get a little more clarification on that also.
Is there any means for people not notifying corrected quantities of materials to lower their fees paid up front? No, there's really no means other than when we do our inspections, we go and take a look at the jobs, knowing whether their footages are, and if we get complaints, there's really no way to make people honest.
So the key component here when you're filling out this form is you have a survey, and the form better accurately reflect the RACM in that survey. If you are trying to submit this form and not pay accurate RACM fees, and we go out and we have a survey and it identifies a lot more material, then that is a violation, and we're probably going to take enforcement on you for not properly doing it, because when you fill out this form, you're attesting that it's true and accurate information. So that is a key to make sure it's accurate. If you're falsifying the form, that is going to be a big deal.
All right, maybe who fills out and submits the form, the owner, the demo contractor, or the abatement contractor? It could be any one of those three. EPA rules require, the NESHAP rules are owner-operator, and the licensing rules require an abatement contractor to fill out the notice. So that's one of the things with this convenience fee is who's filling it out. It's going to be a little bit more interesting with the online system, because whoever, as you get a PIN number, whoever's filling this out and signing it has a PIN number and they're associated with a company, that's who's the only person that's going to be able to revise the notifications online, because they're the ones who submitted it. So there will be down the road, hopefully sooner than later, a situation where they'll be able to, as a company, assign several different people as individuals who can submit for your company. I don't think it's going to be available January 5th, but it will be pretty soon. I think, maybe February, March after that. Hopefully that will be a possibility. To confirm, paper notices can be issued beyond January 5th. We are not required to go electronic. That is true. Although we are strongly recommending that you go down the electronic route. Just from what we've seen in the past from the ODH side, I think we have probably about 80% of the contractors who do online notifications. It's just easy all around. You're ensuring it's getting to us. It's easy to manage. So for the current blanket notifications, the recent mailing states that December report now have to be filed with ODH. Does this report need to be sent to the local EPA districts, as we have done in the past? Well, it was never an EPA requirement to send those, so it was probably just the EPA districts or local area agencies that were asking for it. If you want to make sure, you can always go ahead and give them a call and see if they still want that or not. I can't speak for the district officers on whether they still want those or not, but it's not a requirement that you send it to them. Thanks for bearing with us through so we can review several of them. For an installation with multiple buildings at the same street address, is a separate Section 2 page required for each building? No. It's one address with several buildings on there, so if you're looking over here at the notification form, site location specific, this is where you can put down, building ABC, or, whatever, boiler house, and, guard shack, whatever it may be. So on site location specific is where you can put the building names of that, on that address. Will projects canceled by the owner or client receive a full refund of the RACM fees? I assume licensing NESHAP fees will be forfeited. Correct. The licensing NESHAP fees will be forfeited, but, excuse me, if the RACM fee, or if the project is canceled and that does not happen, the RACM fee will be refunded. If surveys are requested, how will they be submitted? You can either mail them in with your hard copy notification form, or you can submit them electronically. Whether it's, if you're filling out the online system, you'll be able to upload it, or you can fax email.
If they're requested after the fact, you can email or fax them in.
Right. Can revisions be made on hard copy as well as electronic? Yes, obviously, you can do hard copy. We prefer electronic, but even in some situations where these first ones that are coming in hard copy originals, and you may have a couple hard copy revisions, and then the system goes live at the beginning of the year. As soon as that stuff is entered into the system, and you should be able to get in to your notification and be able to do it electronic from there. But if not, you could at least continue doing it on paper through the end of that project. Okay, one of the questions to confirm, we can issue unlimited number of addresses as needed on one notice as long as owner, county, contractor are all the same. Yes, to a certain degree, I guess, is the answer. Obviously, if you have 30 houses, if you get a project, you get 30 houses from a city, for example, and you have all the information on the projects, you have all the survey information, all the information, you have the dates that you think you're going to be doing the project, you can put all that on one notice. But if you notify with 20 projects or 20 addresses on a project, and then 2 months later, you know, maybe that notification is still open and you get another 10 houses allocated to you, you cannot add it to that one that's currently open that you originally notified with 20. That will be a whole separate notification for that set of project. So that's how that will work. Current notifications with different revision numbers for ODH and EPA, which revision number should we be used after 12/21? That's a great question. We're trying to be helpful for you guys and allowing you that if you want to only complete the new form, so you only have to do it once and it'll take care of both of them if need be. So if you're doing that, then I guess I think right now what we're thinking is go with the highest number of what you are, of whichever one's the highest number, and just continue on with that, and we'll deal with it on this side. Did I hear correctly that this form that must be used after December 21st? Yeah, we think you should be using this form after December 21st. Obviously, like we mentioned, any active projects that you have, you know, if you still got some going on and you want to still use the current forms to the current places, you can do that up till the end of January 2nd at 5 p.m. But we would recommend you start using new forms, especially for new notifications. Do we have to wait until the 21st to utilize a new form and send to Central? Can we start now for sake of simplicity?
For any project that's going to occur after January 1st, yes.
Yeah. Right, so anything after January 1st, because the rules technically take effect January 1st, so you should be doing it on the new form for any project after January 1st. So the next one, if you add asbestos abatement volumes to a given project, does this require additional fees? It's going to be dependent on the amount that it goes up by, you know, from the original submission. If it's more than the amount that's required, but when you look at it by units, then they'll invoice you for the difference of what it was. And vice versa, if all of a sudden you had 2,000 linear feet on the notification and you ended up only removing 1,000 at the end after you revised that notification, because that's what you've done because there was a change in the notification and you did the revision appropriately, then it'll notice that and it'll give you the refund for the difference. So, is there a cost for revisions? No. If there's a building with more than one address, like a condo, how would it be noted on the form? Would only one address be used? We're still using the same rules that we used before. As far, you know, for EPA, you've always been able to put those on one project. You still will be able to do that. As far as ODH and the charges for licensing fees, it depends. I guess it depends on the situation. If there's one address for the whole condo complex, and it's building A, B, C, D, or whatever, then they only have one address, and technically even it's only one address to fill out. But like many condos, there's, you know, roads running through and streets, and they have different addresses for each little condo section of 2 or 4 or whatever it might be. And if that's the case, then you'll be putting those down on separate addresses, and they'll be looked at like we do now. There's been a couple more questions about companies. Again, I think the reason that question is on there, Jim was mentioning, was for
we assign internal IDs to facilities as an agency that we deal with, and they're these core IDs for, so that is why that is on there. What we'll have to do is we will get because there's several questions. We will get clarification. We will have those questions answered by those individuals who handle that area. So we'll clarify any issues associated with them.
And on the website, there is an area now for FAQs, frequently asked questions. So as we get questions in here, some of the questions and the answers will show up here. So we'll make sure we get that one on that list. So, online. There's a question about submitting notifications online. Again, we're talking about the paper form today, but are we able to print out that online version to send in hard copy as original? You're not, if you're doing it through online, you're submitting through the online. You aren't going to submit a hard copy as an original. Lucas County Land Bank, they currently submit EPA notification on a spreadsheet. Will they continue to do that, or is the contractor doing this now and responsible for accurate dates?
Yeah, we're going to need to have an actual form submitted for any job that's going on for the Lucas County Land Bank, and not a spreadsheet.
If you're doing,
again, it's a company, clarification.
If the abatement contractor completes the notification for our project and later the demolition contractor submits one for the same project, will the demolition contractor be required to pay the same fees? Well, they won't be paying the abatement fees or the racking fees because those will already be gone, so they'll just be paying their demolition fee.
Correct. It's the same address, same location. The project, one part would be if they submit them separately, one part would be the abatement part of the project, and one would be the demo part of the project. So you can submit them separately if you wanted to, or you can submit them together either way, but it'll cost additional fee if they're submitted separately.
If we're working with the paper form, do the revisions also need to be submitted in a paper form, or can they be emailed? You don't have to physically mail them in. You can email or fax them. That's probably preferred rather than snail mail for revisions. If an owner wishes to change a project from project-based abatement to annual blanket basis for notified mid-year, can they do it in the middle of the year? The answer right now is no.
The emission control rules do not allow for submission in the middle of the year. It specifically says it has to be done at the end of the year prior to the year of the annual notification.
Yeah, there was a question about will Columbus be sending notifications to local building departments of demolition notifications, or local air pollution offices sent notifications that are now required by Canton's building department. We have nothing to do with the local building department, so we will not be doing anything like that. How many inspectors we have in the field? Roughly
20 to 30.
20 to 30. And then there was a couple questions about demolition contractor being added to a revision if they're not originally listed. On a notification, if the owner or the asbestos contractor puts in a notification, they can revise the notification and change the demolition contractor. However, if a demolition contractor notifies for a demolition, they will not be able to add or change the abatement contractor section. So, will we be able to check online to see who has submitted notifications? Eventually. I know some people are probably used to the current ODH system where you can go on the public website and see all the current notices. I know that system will be going down January 2nd, January 1st. The new notification system, eventually we will have a public component to it where you'll be able to get on there, but it won't be ready January 5th.
Correct.
That we answered that one.
Okay.
Lucas County Land Bank question again, Allen County, et cetera. They've been awarded 5 projects, but only 2 are over 50. Do we still have to notify for all 5? You have to notify for all of the projects, or all the addresses or whatever under that project. So you'd have to notify for all 5. Now maybe only 2 of them will get charged a licensing fee. The other 3 that are under won't get the licensing fee. But you do have to still put them on a notification because they're part of the project. That one will answer separately.
Okay.
Can we send revisions on the old forms until January 5th to Columbus, or do we have to re-enter the information on the new form and submit them to Columbus? Again, you can still use the old forms up to January 2nd. January 2nd, 5 o'clock, our old systems are being shut down and we can't do anything in the old systems anymore. Is it a refund or a credit for the notification that are revised to a lower quantity? We do not have the ability to do credits. They will be refunds. Email address or fax for revisions. Again, the email is asbestos@epa.ohio.gov. The fax number is still being...
It will still be the current one that's ODH, the 564-2481, I think it is. I think it's...
On the form?
It's on the ODH website. Well, no.
He's checking to see if it's on the form.
Probably.
If not, it will be.
I don't think so.
I know the email address is on the form.
No, just the email address. They didn't put the fax number on.
The fax number is not. It'll be the one that's currently on the ODH website, which I believe is 564-2481.
Okay. Will our ODH account for payment transfer over to the new system, or will we have to set up a new account for payment? Yeah, the ODH, your ODH account, any licensed contractors right now who have a gateway account, January 2nd, 5 p.m., that's being removed, shut down. You will no longer be able to do notifications with that gateway account. If you went in and logged in, you'd be able to log in, but you won't, when you go to try to get to your specific license, it will give you an error message and you won't be able to get in. Some of the contractors actually are also lead contractors. ODH's lead program is still going to be remaining back there and still be utilizing the system. So if you have lead contractors that work for you, you still will be able to use your license to get in there and access those that you already have currently, have access to like that. But asbestos-wise, that will end. You will have to register over with the e-business center with EPA if you haven't already, and then come January 5th, start using that system for notifications.
Okay, those are all of our questions. There were several specific questions that the presenters will contact you directly and answer those. Just a quick reminder that we will have another webinar January 4th covering the electronic form. And I don't know if you guys have any other closing comments you want to add before we close out the webinar?
I know it's a lot to take in, so if there's questions, you have specific questions as you're filling out the forms or with what to do, most of you guys probably already have our numbers, but our numbers are on the website. Give us a call. We understand and know it's a crazy transition for you guys as well as us, and we'll be here to work with you to get through it. There was one more question that just came in. Is a 10-day wait period required if a demo contractor discovers asbestos that was not on the initial survey?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, well, we appreciate your attention today, and again, thank you for all of your questions, lots of good questions, and again, the webinar January 4th, if you haven't registered for it, if you're planning on using the electronic notification system. So with that, thank you and have a great day.